that we can get going because it's 3 minutes after 6 already. So welcome to everyone here today. It's nice to see you here, and I'm sure as the time goes on, more people will join. My plan today is to look at both the minutes and the report writing combined, and I want to do that because I think we spent a lot of time on the report writing because you had to do a specific assignment on it, and then there's also Dr. Shandu's really fantastic session on the report. So you have a lot of resources. So what I want to do this evening is talk a little bit about the minutes, talk a little bit about the... Hello, Richard. Glad you made it. Richard and I were in the wrong meeting initially, so I'm glad you're here, Richard. So, and then I just want to talk about some of the stuff. I know I might have been bombarding you a little bit in the WhatsApp chat about, notifications coming through on my UNISA, but it's so important that that you pay attention to these things before your exam starts. I'm not sure when your exam is going to, when your personal exam times begin, whether this module is the first module. I don't know how many modules you registered for. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Okay. Thanks, Pumza, for posting your... no. Okay, so there is no register like before, and I've been told by the admin team to ask you to please post your student numbers like we used to do right at the beginning. As you log in or sign in or join the session, just please add your student number into the meeting chat. Okay, so I'm going to turn my camera off now. And I'll see you later on. I'll turn it back on just now. But for now, please post your student number into the chat as we... Okay, all right. Somebody's saying for them. Okay, Pumza is going to be your second exam. All right. So thanks for that, Pumza. Please don't forget to put your student number in the meeting chat, everybody. I see Andre's here, Zukiswa, Lesedi, Tobile, Pumza, and Richard. So I need all of your student numbers in the meeting chat, please. Thank you. So what questions do you have? What questions do you have about this exam so far? Look, I can't tell you what's going to come in. I really don't know. All right. I have a good working relationship with Dr. Shandu, but that's all it is, a good working relationship. I have no inside information. I have nothing. I have asked, however, about the tutorial letter that you would receive, informing you of the format of the exam, how many questions, those kinds of things. And I've emailed and I've been told that the tutorial letter will become available. Where is that email? Yeah, the tutorial letter is still being worked on. Okay, so it's not available yet, but you need to be checking my UNISA all the time to check to see. So I thought, I mean, how are you feeling about the exams? Maybe you just want to talk about it a little bit. Is there anything in particular that you want me just to re-explain, cover? I'm happy to do that. We have 2 hours, whereas on a Saturday morning, we've got the whole, more than just the Western Cape students attending. Some of you can or can't attend. And so the format is really is very different. Whereas here we've gotten to know each other over the semester, even though I may have never seen all of you present here today. You've seen me, but it feels, we've created some kind of community, a virtual community, and so my job, I believe, is to support you as best I can. And thanks, Lesedi. So what questions do you have at this stage? I mean, if you're in a place where it's a bit noisy and you don't want to unmute your microphone, then maybe you just want to type it in the chat. Okay. I have my usual presentation ready, but I sometimes think that I'm quite happy to not use it and just give this time an opportunity for you to talk about some of the things that you are worried about. So, or the things that you want to talk about. So Andre's asking if it's a portfolio exam. Yes. From what I understand, it's a portfolio exam. Now, people, I just want to explain something to you. As I said earlier, I don't have any extra inside information. Okay. For the people who have just joined, please will you add your student number to the meeting chat. So I have no inside information. It's like people in the chat today were asking me about the your phone number, providing your phone number, and then quite a few questions came up, and they valid questions. But all my responses to you are all based on careful reading of of the same things that you have access to. So is this a portfolio exam? Yes, it's a portfolio exam, which means that it's a take-home exam, all right? Which means that you will log into my UNISA from 7 o'clock onwards on that Friday. When are you writing again? I keep forgetting the date. Okay, this is the first time for you. So look, for Andre, it's no different to your other exams. Don't be put off by the word portfolio. Don't be put off by that. It's called a portfolio exam because you have to put together a number of answers, okay, in one document, pretty much like your assignments, and then upload it into my UNISA. That's all it is. Okay. There's it doesn't have to be in special font, none of that special stuff. It's you answering the questions. So what we're going to do is, I'm pleased to see quite a few people here already. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take you to the my UNISA site and then just talk through some of these things. So I'm hoping that that's making you feel a little bit less anxious, Andre. Leanne, I'm glad you're here. You made it. I know you were struggling earlier. Okay, I'm just checking here for messages. Okay, so you're writing on the 23rd, which is the Friday. So next Friday, the exam portal will open, okay, at 7 o'clock. So that means the exam becomes available from 7 o'clock onwards. You will be able to download the paper. So it will be like you're going to download a past paper. And I'm using, okay, you can do either write or type, okay. The only thing that they ask for is that when you are handwriting Pumza, is that it must be written in a way that's easy for people to understand. In other words, your handwriting must be what we call legible. By legible, we mean I must be able to read it. Okay, so if you've never ever used the computer before, now is not the time to do it, okay? Learning to type and all that kind of thing, not ideal. rather do that next semester and practice during the semester so that by the time the exam session comes in 2021, then you're good to go with your typing. But do not fiddle with learning and trying to type an answer if you just got a computer. It's going to take you too long. So either or, all right? Okay. So keep the questions coming. I'll keep checking the chat for your questions. Otherwise, unmute the microphone. So what I want to do now is I want to share my screen with you, and I want to okay, somebody's saying, was that Leanne? Yeah, so look, the question was, Leanne, Andre asked the question, is this a portfolio exam? Okay. And I said, yes, it's called a portfolio exam, but don't get stressed out by the use of the word portfolio. Okay. You are going to be writing an exam where you're going to download the paper from MyUnisa onto your device. All right. Okay, I'm sharing my whole screen with you so you can see the chat and minimize that. There's the WhatsApp chat. Let me, okay. All right, so can everybody see this, right? So I want to go through this. Now you've got access to this. And I think I did post it in the chat earlier. It's really, really important that you go through this before the time. Okay, don't fiddle on the day. You want to make sure that you understand all of this stuff. And if the online exam is the first time for you, then you must make sure that you get this. Now, you're reading to make sense of it. So let's just log in here quickly. And I'll show you where I'm getting my information from. Okay? And I'm showing you that I see exactly what you see. I don't have any special access to information because I am a tutor or I run these workshops. So I'm just logging into the ENN1504 general site, and there you'll see the announcement. Okay, so now this is a brand new. Did I come into the right place? Yes. This is a brand new announcement that you'll probably see in your email. Okay. But we'll go into it now. So I want to go into this email here, which Dr. Shandu sent you. Okay. So I want you to read through this very, very carefully. Very carefully. You will write an online exam. Now that simply means that you are going to sit at home and write your exam. That's what it means for this particular module. Okay? You're going to go into MyUnisa, you're going to download it, you're going to write your exam like a take-home exam. Okay? You're going to be given a few days in which to complete it. And then on the, what is it, the 26th, somebody please just help me. I think on the 26th by 7 p.m. that Monday night, you must have uploaded your answer. So very similar to your assignment, okay? So the exam will be written over a few days. You have those times now. You will access the exam question paper on MyUnisa and submit your answers on MyUnisa. Exams here, Pumza, you were saying, it can be typed or handwritten and then scanned as a PDF document. Now, people, just in terms of that comment there, okay, taking a photo of your answer and uploading it into MyUnisa is not a PDF. A photograph is not a PDF document. Okay, you have to download scanning software onto your cell phone. If you are downloading the question paper onto your phone, all right, and then you are going to be handwriting your answer out. You have to download scanning software onto your cell phone. Scanning software is free of charge, and then you have to open up that software, the scanning software on your cell phone. Then you have to scan it, and the document will save to your phone in the documents folder of your phone. You are able to name your document, okay? And then you can upload that document from your cell phone up into My Unisa once you've logged in. Does that make sense? What I'm talking about here? Anybody? Somebody wants to be added to the group. It's a bit late in the day to be added to the group, but okay, we will add you to the group. Go ahead. Somebody wants to
Hello,
ask.
ma'am. I'd like to ask.
Go for it.
Does it
Yeah.
have to be that particular scanning app?
Which scanning app are you talking about?
The one you're talking about, ma'am.
No, any scanning app, eh?
Okay. All right.
I mean, I use Cam Scanner. Okay, the person who wants
Okay, ma'am.
the link to the chat, it's in link to the WhatsApp group is in the chat. I use something called Cam Scanner, and it works really well. Go to the Google Play
All right.
Store and
Okay.
download.
All right.
Okay, and can I give you a hint? Play around with it before you, do you know what I'm saying? Familiarize
Yeah.
yourself now before the exam comes. Okay, somebody's saying they use Tap Scanner. There are a host of scanning software applications available on Google. It's whichever takes your fancy. All right. And when so it's important that you play around, that you familiarize yourself with this before the exam starts, because you don't want to be fiddling and figuring out how to scan and all that kind of thing on the 26th. So play around now already, okay, on your phone. Um, if you're anything I mean, I shouldn't generalize, but if you're anything like me, um, or well, my 20-year-old, my soon to be 20-year-old, his phone is in his hand all the time, so you've got lots of time to play, unless of course you're working. Okay, Zazipo, I did answer that question already, and if you were paying careful attention, I showed you here, and it is highlighted on my screen at the moment. It can be typed or handwritten. Okay, so as I said before, don't stress yourself out about, you are going to you're going to hear, ideally, you need a computer. Yes, you do need a computer. It is better to have a laptop, because for those of you doing multiple choice questions and that kind of thing, it is better. But if you don't have a device like that, then you've got to make do, and there's always a way. That's my mantra in life. There is always a way. So never give up, okay? And don't get yourself all worked up into a stressed out state, because what happens when you become like that, your creativity and your problem solving part of your brain just goes somewhere else. It just shuts down, and it's really, really not. Yes, you are going to feel nervous. It's all very understandable, but don't get so worked up that you can't even be creative and think straight. So, hello Tracy. Please add, if people who's just arriving, please will you add your student number to the meeting chat. So if you just arrived, we're just talking about the exam to come, and I am in the process of sharing my screen, and I've logged into My Unisa, looking at the announcements, and we've just spoken about what is being called your portfolio exam, and I'm just trying to make sure that you understand what is meant by portfolio exam. Okay, so let's just go back to another one of these announcements. Now, I want to draw your attention to this notice. This was on the 12th, which was, I think, on Saturday. Okay? On Friday, Dr. Shandu had a live session talking about assignment 2 and giving feedback on assignment 2. But not only did she give feedback on assignment 2, she also discussed in that whole session, she spoke about report writing and report writing in general. So it is for this reason that I am not going to spend a lot of time talking about reports, because you got access to the most incredible session, which you can access by copying and pasting either this link, okay, into your browser, or this link. So this one didn't work for me, okay. But this one did. I'm sorry, I'm hearing my neighbor speak outside and the dog barking, and I'm just wondering what's going on. Okay, so it's a live session and you have access to that recording, and I strongly urge you to go and watch it and listen to it. Okay, keep your questions coming, because I mean I will get 2 minutes and report writing, and we'll deal with your questions on those two documents. Okay, then now I was going back. I want to go back to the list. So this is the first time now that I've seen this, and you'll see it was posted there at 4:45. So let's see what it says. Okay. So here's a recording regarding preparation for writing them. So how about let's play it? Okay. Go to. I hope it works for me. I'm not sharing my screen with you. Okay. Okay. All right. So here is a recording of the how to prepare for the exam. Okay. I wonder how long it is. Oh, it's 43 minutes.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Vivian Tlachayo, one of the lecturers in the ENN1504 module. Today I'm here with Ms. Katlahotubahane. I will be taking you through the preparations for the portfolio of indents. So welcome, I hope you are all well.
Okay, just a question. Do you want, so here's a question. Do you want me to play this for you or not? It's 43 minutes long. Okay, it's going on for 6:30 now. So it means we're going to be done with this by 7:15. Give me a thumbs up or tell me if you'd rather just watch it by yourself. In the chat, please. Okay, if we don't watch it, what will we do instead? If we can access, okay, all right, okay. So if, okay, I see what you're saying there, and I think this is the person who's come up as live.cid would be, okay. Leanne saying I'd watch it by myself at a later stage. Okay, watch it by yourself. Okay, great. All right, that's fine. We can do that, and then I will stop it because, okay. So the person's asking, if we don't watch it, what will we do instead? Well, then I will go ahead with what I planned for this evening, and then I'll talk about minutes and report writing. But okay, all right. You watch it by yourself. I will watch it anyway because it's guidance for me, because I'm doing a session on Saturday, and I'm doing a session next week with you anyway. So just to clear up any confusion that may still be around. So what I wanted to draw your attention to was, and I'm still sharing my screen, was this. This is what I had here. Okay, there's also a webinar tomorrow where they're going to cover this. But now if you can't attend the webinar tomorrow, and from our previous experience with the webinars with UNISA, is that the webinar link can only take so many students. Okay, and so you may not be able to get on. Like some of you found the last time, you couldn't access the session. So you can come here to the MyUNISA site and then have a look at these tips for online exams. So it's really important that you spend time looking at this if you are writing multiple choice questions or paragraph exams. Okay, that's useful for you. We are not writing a multiple choice paragraph exam. We are doing a take-home portfolio exam, and I'm not sure at this stage if it's an e-assessment tool on my exams. You have to pay attention to that that presentation by the lecturer that you said you're going to watch by yourself. So you need to pay attention whether it's a portfolio exam or a take-home exam on the e-assessment tool, or if it's a file upload on MyUNISA. But if I recall correctly, that's what Dr. Shandu said in her message to you. So this is for you. Take-home portfolio exam, file upload on MyUNISA. Access it 15 minutes before the start of the exam. You need to be connected to the internet, obviously. Then you are going to download the paper. They show you where to go to download your paper. You're going to log in with your student name and your number and your password. Then once you've downloaded your question paper, you can log out of MyUNISA to read the questions and then type your answers on a laptop. And here again, for the people who asked me that question, either type on a laptop or write answers on sheets of paper and later convert your answers to PDF for uploading. Okay? You don't need to be connected to the internet for the full duration. Prepare your answers for uploading. If you're typing it, read through this. If you're handwriting it, read through every. Now, I know you probably are getting annoyed with me because it's like, Lynn, we can read. But you know what? Do you know how tutors, e-tutors and lecturers were inundated with emails from students asking about these kinds of questions? Okay. Please don't password protect your file name, your file, because they can't mark it. Okay, make sure that if you're on a computer that the file isn't corrupt, because if it's a corrupt file, they can't open it, and then they can't mark it. Don't load the pages one by one. It must be a single document. So this is why I'm saying to you, practice using your scanning software app. practice, work out for yourself how to do this. Because obviously your answer might consist of 3, 4, 5 pages, either typed or if it's handwritten. Okay, there is a way to do to scan individual documents and then convert it into a single PDF document with multiple pages. So you must figure all these things, little things out before your exam next week. Then you explained how to upload. Okay, make sure that you tick the honesty declaration, really important. Okay, and then you have to, this is also important. So all these little things are really important for you to read through. All right, if you are stuck with anything, I don't know what the nature of the support is going to be like on the day, but uh, if you want to email anybody, if you want to email the lecturer, the email must come from your My Life account. I don't think they're going to accept email from Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, and any other email address. It must come from your My Life account because that's how they verify that you are indeed a legitimate UNISA student. So it's important that you do that. Okay. All right. So here's my presentation. Please keep your questions coming.
Can I ask you something, ma'am?
Go for it, Lesedi.
Regarding the investigation report.
Yes.
Am I allowed?
Yes, go for it. Yes, you're allowed.
There's a time, okay, I went through the study guide,
Yes.
page 51 of our study guide, on the terms of reference.
Yeah.
And it included, it is like, I went through it. It has a lot of things. I'm going to quote small things so that you can understand what I'm talking about.
Okay. Okay. What I'm going to do, Lesedi, is I'm going to go to the study guide myself. So what page did you say you're on?
51.
Okay. All right. And I'm going to share my screen so everybody can see it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So page 51. Yes.
Yes. Point number 1.
Yes.
Give
Go.
the name and official capacity of the person who commissioned.
Yes.
Okay. My question is, from our assignment number 2, we have Dr. Yandu who has commissioned the investigation in which the way the money can be spent.
Yeah.
But on there is this terms and conditions, terms of reference that I have read. It tells us, let me read it for you so that you can hear what does it say. It says, on the 10th of September 2020, Dr. L. Yandu, remember here, first of all, the initials of L. Yandu is not there. I have Yandu. Am I allowed to give Yandu any initials on my portfolio?
For me, I suppose, what did the feedback to your exam say? I mean, to your assignment say? Did you get feedback, Lesedi, in your paper? I mean, to your assignment?
Yes, I did.
And what?
And they have been given us the initials of Dr. Yandu, and they have given us the what is this? The programs within the Fazani local government, and which was not there on the background of our assignment. They have given us the initial names of the assistant manager of educational advancement. So my question was, I understand why they have given those, like, I don't understand why they have given those names in the terms of reference, as they are not there on the background. Remember,
Okay.
our background, it is telling us about Dr. Yandu. They didn't give Dr. Yandu the initials. So my question was, as the feedback came back, am I allowed to give Dr. Yandu any initials?
Yes. So my answer to that is the following. If they are wanting, and this is important for everybody else to pay attention to, if they are wanting, if in the feedback they're saying to you they want the initial of Dr. Yandu, please in your report, if you're writing in the exam, make sure that the person who commissions the report, that person has an initial. You could even give the person a name. Okay. So, and if the name is not provided, you make up a name. Okay. And why do I say that with confidence? Because it is in your in your study guide. It says somewhere, I think it's right in the very first unit, or maybe it's not in this one, I might be getting confused, but invent information that is missing. So for example, Lesedi, you were saying, so you never got the name of the person who worked for the name of the local government. Okay? You were required to invent that information. You were required, remember, UNISA students come from all over the country. Okay? So what they're wanting you to do here is they're wanting you to draw on your personal experience. So whatever province you are from, and I mean, yes, the students here now are from the Western Cape province, right? But this assignment is written by students from all over the country. So they're wanting you to refer to your personal local government, whatever local government that might have been. It doesn't even have to be the true, actual, factual name. It could have been an invented name anyway. Okay, as long as it's believable. So you are required to invent information, create information, if it's not provided to you in the background. Does that help you?
Yes, thank you so much. So
you're welcome.
I got helped, and I'm welcome too.
Okay, the inventing part, page 12 of the study guide. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so your study guide really, really is important. So let's just jump to the study guide, page 12. Thanks for that. Okay. Where is it? Page 12. Yeah, it says here. We might have to add a few details. Okay, I'm not seeing it, but okay. Okay. Oh, students are or do not work in. Okay, so who Anon one. I'm calling you that because I don't know what page, what study guide are you talking about when you say page 12? Oh, are you talking about the tutorial letter for assignment 2?
I was referring to that.
To what? To the tutorial letter?
No. Are we still on my question? Yes, yeah. I was referring to that tutorial letter, assignment 2 of semester 2.
Okay. How come I don't have it? Yeah. So yes, so there somebody posted an answer in directly from the tutorial letter. Official study material. Oh, that was guidelines, obviously for Additional resources. Okay, I'm not seeing it now, but anyway, we've answered the question. Okay, fine. All right, thank you. Thanks for your question, Lesedi. It's a good question. And I'm sure everybody here has benefited from that discussion. Okay. I was looking for my. Please keep your questions coming. It's really important. You know, today we can do an interactive session. I don't mind. Okay, we've gone through all of this. We're looking at writing minutes and report writing. We want to make sure that you are able to plan a response. They're going to be looking for these qualities in your exams. They will use exactly the same marking criteria as they did for your assignments, okay? So it's important that you are able to demonstrate your ability to write effectively. So if we're looking at the minutes of a meeting. Now with the minutes of the meeting, you will receive a background, you will receive a transcript in exactly in the same way that you received that you had assignment 1. Okay, so you're going to be given some kind of context and background to the discussions. So when you are recording the minutes, you need to make sure that you give context and background to the discussion and the decisions. You must make sure that you include the names and the designation, if the designation is provided, of the persons who make proposals and the persons who second the proposals. And you need to record the resolutions or the decisions that have been taken. You need to record them correctly using the appropriate minutes terminology. So, and you'll see those minutes terminology, and we'll go there in a minute on pages 36 to 38 in your study guide. The structure of your, in other words, the layout and the format of your answer, you're going to write in paragraphs. Your first paragraph will set the scene, will give the context, okay? Will tell us the name of the company, who the chairperson is, and just give a little bit, it can be one sentence, a little bit of the background pertaining to this discussion that is taking place in the meeting. Your remaining paragraph or paragraphs will be a summary of the discussion and the decisions related to the discussion. Always writing in formal language, writing in the past tense, and writing in reported speech. Do you have any questions on that at this stage? Any questions? What were the kinds of feedback that you got in your tutorial letters? Sorry, not your tutorial letter, your assignment. Sorry, I'm losing my words. What was some of the feedback you got? And I'm specifically talking about the minutes. Was there anything that you wanted to talk about? What was the feedback like to your minutes question of assignment 1? Are you thinking or are you typing? Because you're very quiet.
Hello.
Hello, go ahead, Lucidi.
Okay. First of all, I would like to ask which kind of structure for minutes
Okay.
were used
Right.
to approach that question of minutes for our assignment.
Okay.
The
So,
structure.
so I'm going to show you something now, and this is how you need to lay out your answer. Okay. So I think this was assignment. This was semester 1. This was the feedback tutorial letter for assignment 1's minutes question. So Lesedi, on the screen, you will see the layout and the format of your minutes question. Okay, where you are required to minute just one aspect of the meeting. You were provided in your first assignment with the number and the heading. Okay, then your first paragraph gives the background or the context of the meeting, and the rest of the paragraphs deal with the summary of the discussion and all of the decisions that were made. Written in the past tense. So, Mrs. Nene reported in the past tense. Okay? She emphasized in the past tense. Ms. Sene suggested, past tense. Mr. Null raised a concern. Ms. Bana counted. The secretary was requested to write letters. So all of the actions, everything that happens, everything that's written about in the summary and the decisions, they are all written in the past tense. The chairperson, Mr. Zwane, requested Ms. Nene to table the matter of negative publicity surrounding the annual Champions Gala evening that the committee was planning. So this is just your first little paragraph to set the scene, to give the reader some idea of what is going to be discussed here. Does that help, Lesedi?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, all right. So you were wanting to know how to lay out your answer. And remember, your answer is a direct response to the question. Okay? So the question in the assignment, and it'll probably be the same in the exam, it says, write minutes of this discussion that covers only one item. Okay? Begin your minutes with the following heading. This means here the complete format for minutes is not required. Very important, because even though your study guide shows you how to write minutes in full, okay, that's your full minutes, okay, you have only been asked to minute part of the meeting. So all of this here is not required. Apologies, present, minutes of the previous, all of those headings that you would find usually in your minutes, not required. You are only minuting a part of a meeting. Okay, so in our instance, you are doing 5 point whatever, they will give that information to you in the exam. Okay, so you won't have to provide all of the welcome, the present, the apologies, the minutes of the previous meeting, all of the matters arising, all that information is not required. You only minuting part of a meeting. Part of a meeting. number 5.3. And so you've got to follow the instructions that's given to you. Any comments or questions on that? Is everybody clear on that? I know it's repetition for some people because you've been religiously attending the sessions that we ran leading up to the assignments, but now it's exam time. So you now have to show the examiner or the marker that you have learned from your experience of the assignment, that you take on board what you have learned, and you are going to make those changes in your answers. So if you are one of those people who made the mistake of writing the full minutes, okay, this time round, make sure that you follow the instructions, and if they say to you one part of the meeting. Pumza, you're saying provide more details, satisfactory format, content flawed, explain some what content flaw, some language issues. Okay, all right. Okay, so Pumza, maybe they wanted you to give more details from the transcript. Maybe you provided too little background or summary, you know, where you had to summarize some information. Maybe that's what they asked for. Okay, language issues might be, you know, were all your verbs in the past tense, some grammar issues, some sentence construction, maybe it was spelling issues. But the word some means not much. Okay, so try to fix those going forward. The writing in the past tense and writing in reported speech is particularly important. So I just want to show you, and I'm not sure, I'm sure you would have received this in the you would have received this feedback as a tutorial later. So some of the feedback says structure, okay? Therefore, you were assessed looking for structure, following the instructions. Some students use the full format of minutes instead of focusing on the one agenda item. Now, I've just explained that one. Instead of using reported speech, some students use direct speech, which is not allowed. Students reported what each speaker said in turn and did not summarize the instructions. Now, let's just go back here to the transcript. The minutes. I'm not sharing my screen. I keep forgetting to share my screen. I apologize. The minutes, ladies and gentlemen, is not writing the minutes, is not writing every single line that you see here in the transcript in reported speech. That's not writing minutes. Okay? Some people have done that, but that's not writing minutes. Writing minutes is finding what was said and then summarizing what was relevant and then writing that in reported speech. So it takes quite a couple of steps. It's not just as straightforward as rewriting what Mama Mary said here in reported speech. Mama Mary said that they appreciated Lazi's very educational anecdotes, but could she request, with all due respect, that Lazi told the rest of the story during tea? They needed to make decisions on their response to local mag. That's not writing the minutes. Does that make sense? Was there anything else in particular? I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. So if there's anybody who's wanting comment from me or input from me on explaining something that on your feedback that you got on your minutes section, I'm happy to help you. but it means you need to give me the information. So either, type it in the chat or unmute your microphone like Leslie has. For people who have just arrived, welcome. We're just re-looking at the minutes. Please, will you type your student number in the meeting chat?
Hello.
Hello, Leslie, go ahead.
Is there anywhere inside the study guide where I can find the layout of the minutes? Because according to me, the way I understand it, we have to have the structure, like the perfect structure or the real structure. Because in the study guide, it doesn't give us half of what you just showed us now.
Yes.
It gives us the layout of where it says the matters, the apologies, agendas.
Yes.
So yes,
Yes.
yeah, that one. Yes, that one.
So let's say that format that you are asking for, you'll find in your study guide on page 38 and 39. Okay? But your assignment did not ask for the full format. That is why I'm showing you this format. Does that make sense? Because
yes, it does.
Because your question said the complete format for minutes is not required.
Okay, I get you.
Right? You are only covering one item, 5.2, an effective response to locomags in sensitive article on weight. So while, yes, I'm showing you the full format, the reason I put lines through it is because you don't have to do it. And I'm sure the exam will be exactly the same as your assignment.
Okay, thank you so much. I get it.
All right. You're welcome. I'm happy you're asking all of these questions. Is there, hello, there's someone called unknown user. I'm sorry, I can't see your name. It's Singata? Yeah. Okay, Singata, and we've got, all right. Okay. Any other questions on the minutes? No questions on your side. Thanks, Pumza. Are you happy? Okay. All right. So let's just then have a look at, let's just revise the language of the minutes. Okay, so we need to write in the past tense and look at your study guide, pages 33 to 36. The past tense, you write in the past because the meeting has already taken place. You write in the reported speech, you change the direct speech or the spoken discussion. When it comes to tense, you always go one step back in time, and then when you need to make changes when reference is made to time and place. So words like yesterday will become the day before. So this reported speech, we do this very naturally all the time in our day-to-day lives. So you meet your friend or your co-worker and you say, what happened yesterday? And then the person will tell you what happened in the meeting yesterday. They're not going to talk to, when they tell you what happened in the meeting yesterday, they're not going to tell you, Jacob said, blah, 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 blah. You know, and then speak in the present tense as if Jacob was speaking. So you use the reported speech all the time. What you need to do, especially when you're writing reported speech, is to make sure that you are writing in the past tense and that you are writing reported speech correctly. Okay. There is some information on my UNISA on writing minutes, so go and explore all of the resources there. So, an approach to the exam next week. Read your background very, very carefully because it gives you context of the meeting. Read the transcript very carefully. Select the relevant information to give background to the decisions that were being made. Identify who's the chairperson and the names of the proposers and the seconders, and then identify the decisions that were taken or were made. So as you are reading, underline this information, or if you've got it on the screen, highlight it. Okay, as I've been highlighting information in the PDF documents throughout the sessions. Then follow the instructions. I'm almost certain that all you're going to have to do is minute one agenda item as you had to do in the exam. In the assignment. Okay, so we're going to move on to writing the report. Do you have any comments or questions here? Because this is just revision, because we've covered it in such depth already that I would rather deal with your questions that are bothering you and the feedback that you've gotten to your assignment than go through a presentation again. For the people who are here for the first time, you can access the recordings on that we've done in these sessions, but I've also shown you where to access Dr. Shandu's recording on report writing. It is really, really good. I recommend that you do that. So I'm opening up now for any questions on the report. Any clarity that you need still. I'm just muting my microphone for a moment. I just want to put some lights on in the room that I'm in. But please keep your questions. So I've extended an invitation to people present here today to post questions in relation to the report, the investigative report that you wrote for as an assignment. If you received the feedback to your assignment, please, and you need clarity on that feedback, please type it in the chat and we can talk about it. Remember, we learn from the comments on each other's assignments. Okay, and then that opens up the discussion. So, and this is an interactive process. So I really would like to hear from you what the comments were on your report. We're not talking about your marks. We're looking at the comments, like Pumza posted in the chat here, where she posted the comments that were written on her minutes by the marker. So tell us what the marker had to say. Okay, Leanne, you haven't received assignment 2 marks back yet. Okay, thank you for that. Anyone else? Is there anyone here who has received an assignment? Okay, Pumza.
SMS live to 44207 and we'll call you back.
If you've just joined, hello. Please will you post your student number in the meeting chat? Welcome to the session. We're talking about report writing and I'm asking people present. Okay, all right. Is there anybody here who has received the assignment 2 marks? Also, Zizipo is also saying didn't get it back yet. Okay. All right. So it looks like most people are still waiting. Richard's also waiting. Okay. All right. So I'm going to open this up to you now. I want to know from you, what aspect of the report do you want me to explain? What aspect of the report do you want me to explain? Remember, the report is a very structured document, okay? If you follow the headings, then you'll be fine. So I'm just going to, I might have to open up another presentation, but let's just have a look at this quickly while you're thinking. Okay, so when you're writing the report, you've got to read the background very carefully so that it gives you context and relevant information for the content. Bearing in mind that some of the content has to be invented and created, okay? Content such as names, dates, times, particularly in your terms of reference, in your procedures and your findings. And use the 5 WH words, the what, where, why, how, okay? What did I do? Where did I go? Why am I doing this? When was it done? What was the outcome? Use the correct headings. These headings will be provided to you. Use relevant content, correct structure, appropriate style, in other words, formal language. So if you want to know where in your study guide to go, pages 46 to 60, but in your workbook, there's some lovely examples in your workbook on pages 92 to 122 that you can consult, okay, during the exam time and now in preparation. Remember, this exam is not about, they're not going to say to you, for 10 marks, write about an investigative report. No, you're not going to get a question like that. You must write an actual report like you did in assignment 2. That's what the exam is going to be testing. It's going to want to see if you have read your study guide, whether you've worked through the exercises in your workbook, whether you've made sense of the headings for yourself, whether you've taken into consideration the feedback given to you. And so that's why Dr. Shandu's feedback video webinar class is really important, because that's where you're going to get feedback, and you may be able to, you'll maybe understand where you might have gone wrong, even if you haven't received your marks back yet, because you know what you submitted. You can actually go to your terms of reference. You can go to your title. You can go to your procedures. You can go to your findings and check it and see, oh, okay, I didn't give dates. I didn't say why. My terms of reference, I left names out. I left the dates out. I didn't say what the purpose of the report was. So you'll be able to figure out fairly quickly. And one thing she makes very clear in that recorded session on assignment 2 is that this is the question, the investigative report question is the one place where you can scoop up marks like anything. And she actually explained how how you're given marks. I need to just find my notes here because I went into the session myself because I wanted to see what she was going to comment on. And things she said that they give marks for are things like your title, okay? If you have said what the report is about, if you've said where the report is, where the investigation is taking place, as in the name of the company, all right? And you've given an indication of why, the purpose of the report, what is being investigated, then you get your marks. And you've written it in capital letters, then you get marks. But you will lose a mark if you didn't write it in capital letters or type it in capital letters. Then, if you've used the correct numbering, for example. So remember, your title in your report doesn't get a number, okay? But number 1 starts with your terms of reference. Number 2 is your procedures. Number 3 is your findings. Number 4, your conclusions. Number 5, your recommendations. If you've given those, that numbering system of yours is correct and you've written in maybe capital letters or bold or whatever, you get a mark. So it's the one document that you can easily score marks. Another place where you can score marks is for that last section of the report, and that's the compiler's details. Okay, so the compiler's details is the one place where you can just get a lot of marks. So maybe let me just go out of this here and go to an example. Okay, Pumza saying you have a problem in the conclusions. Okay, that's a good insight. Thanks, Pumza, for that. So what do you think you could do differently, Pumza? You can just type it in the okay, so the compiler's details is the ending of your report, but let's have a look at the examples here. Oh, there we go. So this is the compiler's details. So you're going to sign, okay? And so some of the people who submitted their assignments for me to review before they who emailed their assignments for me to review, where I looked at spelling and grammar and all that kind of thing. They were quite creative. So if you're typing your assignment, you may not be able to physically sign with a pen. So some people were quite creative. They used a different font, where it looked like handwriting to indicate to show a signature. Or otherwise, you can just put it in bold to indicate that that's the signature. Then you print, okay, your title, your initials, and your surname. There we go. Title being Ms. or Mr., initials and surname. All right. Your designation or your position in the organization and the date. Okay. So it's really important. So yeah, if you've got, if you've got all of this information written accurately, correctly and accurately, you will get marks for it. So pay attention. I mean, it's one of the documents where if just because you put it in capital letters and all of the information, you're starting off with, remember we did that whole exercise on how to write a title, always starting with report on an investigation into. Okay, what are you investigating and where is the investigation taking place? In other words, why is this investigation, why is there an investigation going on? Okay, and where is the investigation taking place? Remember that? Okay, then your terms of reference, all right? Part of your title slot into your terms of reference. Your terms of reference refers to the scope, the boundaries, the limitations of your investigation. Okay. Can you please explain to me the difference between conclusions and recommendations? Okay. So let's go to the study guide. So your conclusions, Singata, are always based on your findings. Okay? So what you're doing is you are interpreting, you are making sense of your findings. You are talking about the significance of your findings, the implications of your findings. You are talking about, you are analyzing the statistics and the facts that came up in your findings, and you're talking about what does that mean for the investigation, for the purpose of you doing this investigation. Okay, so many students confuse the conclusions and the recommendations. The recommendations deal with your suggestions, and your suggestions are based on your findings and your conclusions. All right, so I hope that helps, Singata. You always use words like it is recommended that, or this should take place. You never ever use words such as must. All right. You are suggesting what could be done to address the situation that you have investigated. You need to be specific and you need to be practical. Singata, does that help? You can just give a thumbs up. Okay, all right. Any other comments or questions about the report? Okay, so while you're thinking or while you're typing, because I know sometimes it takes a while to come through, there's quite a lot for you to be doing in preparation for the exam. So this is not a study exam, but you need to be spending time watching all of the recordings, the recording of Dr. Shandu's, which you'll find the link on my UNISA in the announcements. You need to be watching the 45-minute long exam preparation, the portfolio of evidence exam preparation video, and I'm going to watch it as well, so that when we get together next week, okay, and our next session is our final session actually for the semester, is going to be next Thursday, same time, 6 to 8 p.m., the day before you write, okay? So that's going to be when that's when I can see you, I see you again, and unless you're going to come to the tutorial in between on Saturday. Okay. All right, I see what you're saying, yeah. I see what you're saying. I added a lot of things that the 2 million was spent, and I think that's what cost me my marks. Okay, all right, yeah. So as long as you're learning from where you went wrong, okay, and that you do it differently in the exam, then you're good to go. Okay. So as I was saying, you've got a lot of preparation to do. It's not studying per se. All right. It is it's just watching those videos, watching the recordings, paying careful attention to the little details, going through the bit on my UNISA of how to conduct your exam. Remember, you are going to be doing a take-home portfolio exam, which means you're going to be writing the exam at home, in your house, by yourself. That's what all it means. You're going to be typing it up and you're going to be converting it to a PDF document and you're going to be uploading it back into my UNISA. Now, some of the things that you need to do for yourself now already is, if you're living in a situation, for example, where it's not conducive, I mean, I understand some people have young children, it's who are home, and it's not possible for you to, to write in a quiet place. And if you maybe work in an office environment, speak to your bosses, speak to your manager, speak to your supervisor, ask if you can use a meeting room, ask if you can use a boardroom. Now, I know it might be a little bit awkward because you're writing over a weekend, but then that's really up to you when you want to work. Work when the families, the children are asleep, so you've got peace and quiet so that you can work without interruption. All right. I also want to recommend to you, if you have access to a printer, see if you can print the question paper, because it just creates a completely different feel for you, because you can then scribble and write on that question paper. So for example, if you have the question paper in front of you in hard copy, not on the screen, right, then you can take highlighters and pencils or pens, and you can, so for example, you can underline, you can circle. Ah, there's the chairperson. Okay, then you go down and you check you're looking for important information, and you're saying, you're reading as you're going through, you're realizing, but this is irrelevant. I can just put a line through it. I don't have to pay attention to it. I can read it, but it's not relevant to the decisions. It's not part of, I don't need to summarize this information. Okay, and that's the benefit of using the hard copy. So if you can print out the paper, then that'll be great. That's just a tip. I'm a hard copy person, and I find that works really hard for me. That it works really well for me, because then I read actively, I read interactively, I interact with what I'm reading. It's not just reading it and then, what are they talking about? Because now I get bored. But I'm sitting with a pen and piece of paper, or even with a pen or a highlighter or a pencil, and I'm circling and I'm making notes. And remember, if you don't understand meanings of words, people, it's like an open book exam. You look up the meaning of the word in Google. So you have access to all the recordings. Okay, these recordings, all right, the tutorial recordings, the tutorials that I'm doing on a Saturday, and those tutorials were specifically requested by the by the lecturers. I see your question, Sukuluhle. I'll deal with it in a minute. And so you have access to all the resources. You have access to MyUnisa. You know, you have access to your assignments and the feedback you got in your assignments. So you have all those resources available to you for the duration of the exam. So use it. But remember, all of these resources and checking and watching the videos, those things take time. So that's what you should be doing now already. So that when that weekend of the 23rd comes, you're focusing solely on answering the questions. And you're using your study guide as a reference. Just to make sure that your headings are right, that your structure's right. You know, if you've forgotten what do they mean by past tense, go and look it up in your study guide. Look at your workbook, look at the examples there. Okay, so let's have a look at Sukoluhle's question. The exam will consist of investigative report and emails or everything. Okay, Sukoluhle, Sukoluhle, I'm really not sure at this point. You need to be watching MyUnisa like a hawk these days, okay? All I know for now is that on MyUnisa, there is a link to a recording made by one of the lecturers that deals with the exam what was it called? The portfolio exam. Okay, so that's the one thing. I don't know what she speaks out of in there. I'm going to spend some time watching it tomorrow so that I can make sense of it. So watch that. There will be a tutorial letter coming out, as in one that looks very similar to what I've shown you before, and one that is similar to assignment 1, or with the exam information, okay? But as far as whether you're going to do, you know, in the past, the exams used to include everything. You wrote either an email or a memo, okay? Then you also did one part of a meeting, like assignment 1, like minutes, and then you also did an investigative report. But I don't know if they're going to ask you to do all of that, and if they might even add to that. One of the lecturers, or rather what I'm going to cover still next Thursday is it's called reflective writing. Okay, and I don't want you to worry about it. We're going to talk about it. I will explain it to you. I've been asked by the lecturer to I apologize. I spelled this reflective. Let me delete it and spell reflective correctly. I was asked by Mr. Ralushai to cover reflective writing because you're going to be asked to write a reflective writing piece as part of your portfolio. So wait for the details. I'm waiting patiently so that I can support you and help you unpack the details and make sense of it. Okay? But next week, I'm going to be covering reflective writing in detail. But I just want to see some more information about it in the tutorial letter. So don't worry about it. If you want to, feel free to Google it. There are videos you can watch on it on YouTube. But I will be talking about it in more detail. Okay, and of course, I will be recording the session anyway, so you will have access to the recording to help with the exam also. Do you have any comments or questions at this stage? Any more questions? Okay, so while you're thinking or while you're typing, we may finish a little bit earlier tonight, although I'm very happy to keep talking. But, talking in response to your questions or comments, not just me talking. So what's very important for the exam, and irrespective of whether you're writing any of these documents, you must make sure that the content is relevant, that you use the correct structure, as in the format and the layout, appropriate style and register, meaning formal language and vocabulary, grammar, spelling, punctuation, and always be courteous in your writing. So, preparing for the exam on your own, some of you may have seen this slide already. Read Study Guide Units 1, 2, and 3. Okay? Do the activities in Learning Units 1, 2, and 3. Learning units, I'm referring to your workbook. Read the tutorial letters, watch the webinars, watch the feedback videos by the lecturers. Practice using past papers and the workbook exam preparation activities. That's how you prepare for the exam. If you have questions between now and the exam, post them in the WhatsApp group. You have access to me and a group of, I think there are over about 40 people. Okay, and together we can come up with helping you. So, what questions do you still have at this point? Please, can I hear from someone, even if it's no questions, because, hearing deathly silence and looking at circles on my screen can be really unsettling, because I don't know if you're there or not. I don't know if you have no questions, or if the question you do have a question and it's just taking a long time to come through. So it would be great if somebody can just, say to me, Lynn, I don't have any questions. I'm still here, but no questions. Lesedi, you put your mic on?
Yes. Is there any way in the study guide I can find out the layout of the email?
Oh.
Drafting email.
Okay, all right. So no, you will use in the study guide, you will use the same guidelines. That you find. No, I'm in the wrong document. So if you look at study unit 1, let's say, okay, you will use the same guidelines for your structure. So you will use the same guidelines as you would for the memo, okay? Except there isn't an example of the format. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm just going to have to open up. Let me just share my screen. It's just easier. There isn't an example of the layout or format of the email anywhere in your study guide. So I created one for okay. So there you'll see on the screen is an example of the layout of an email, okay, where the word from, and you've got the email address, the word to, and the email address, the date, the subject, dear, the name of the person, In your first paragraph, you're going to say why you're writing. In your second paragraph, you're going to describe the background. In your third paragraph, you're going to give more information. In the fourth paragraph, you're going to suggest the response you need from the reader. But you're not going to tell them what to do. You must always be polite. You're never going to give instructions. And you can end off with kind regards, best regards, and then, of course, your name and surname and your designation and even the name of the company at the bottom. Okay, so that's what I've come up with. Let me see if I can maybe just upload it into the chat. And then you can have it. Am I in the right? Okay, I've just uploaded that document into the meeting chat, Lesedi, so you can access it there. Okay. Does that help?
I think I got the other one.
Yeah.
I think I got the other one from my workbook on page 68. You can check it if you have our workbook. Right. Do you have it, our workbook?
Yeah, I've got it open here, page 68. What about it?
What if I use the layout of that email, the structure of that email? Is it going to be acceptable?
No. This one doesn't have a date. This one doesn't have it's got a subject line. No. So let's tell you this email layout that you're seeing in front of you now. Okay?
Yes, yes.
I explained this in the tutorial last Saturday, and the lecturer was in the tutorial. She was one of the people who attended it, and she agreed with the layout that I presented in the tutorial. So use this layout that I'm showing you on the screen now, not the one in your workbook, because the date is missing here in this one. Okay, that one is incorrect. And even this model answer doesn't have all the information that you need. You're going to be penalized. What is great about this one is the content, right? And the ending and the greeting. But the top bit of your email is missing, and that's what's going to lose you marks. Okay. Does that help?
Yes, it did help. Like, thank you so much.
Okay. All right. You're welcome. Anyone else, ladies and gentlemen? I'm pleased, Lesedi, that you are using your study guide and your workbook so effectively. It's really important that you do that, because most of what you need, okay, of course, now that we know that the email is not in there, but now you have access to it, and I have uploaded that format as a PDF document in the chat, so you can download it if you want from the chat. Okay, so that you can keep it on record for that layout, to see that layout. I can also put it in the WhatsApp group if you want me to. And I think I did put it there before, I can't remember, but I'll put it in the WhatsApp group later on when we're done. So, any last questions? Comments? Anything that's bothering you still? That's confusing you? That you want me to re-explain or explain again? Okay. So, hi. Now you can see what I look like. If there's nothing more, you'll see in the meeting chat, I have posted the evaluation form, and I've asked you to please complete the evaluation form. It's important that you give us feedback. We really appreciate and we value your feedback, because we're always wanting to improve the services that we provide, the support service that we provide to students. Because, you know, distance learning is, it's very, very different to studying at a contact university. I'm registered at a contact university, and we, of course, like all other universities, have had to go to virtual classes. And it is not easy. It isn't easy. And, you know, before COVID-19, UNISA didn't offer virtual sessions like this. We used to do face-to-face sessions. So these sessions would be happening face-to-face. And we don't know whether we will ever be able to offer face-to-face sessions again. The university, I think, might be making, you know, I don't know, I'm just guessing that they may possibly be making changes to policy and implementing big, you know, big, huge changes. And that will change your experience, and it will, these sessions like this are going to prove more and more useful to someone like you who has chosen to study at a distance learning institution. So please complete the evaluation form. It's in the meeting chat. And if you don't have any more questions, then I think we'll end off early today. And if you're able to attend the tutorial on Saturday, please do so. I will be covering very similar things, the minutes of the meeting and the report. And then if any more questions come up for you, please bring them to the session. It will be in the same forum. And I normally post the link in the WhatsApp group before the time, but our session on Saturday will be 11:30 to 1 o'clock. So it's a 1.5 hour session, and sometimes the lecturer is there. I don't know if she'll be there on Saturday, because I know she is on leave at the moment, but she may have asked somebody else to join the session. I don't know. But if there is someone from the, you know, the one of the module lecturers are present, then it's your opportunity to ask direct questions. So all the best, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and I say thank you to you. Stay safe. Just remember, the virus is not on level 1. The virus is still very present, and you know, us moving to level 1 has been for purely economic purposes, nothing else. So please wear your mask, wash your hands, don't become complacent and lax, because we don't want we don't want the infection rate to go up. Already we are seeing the infection rates increasing internationally, and that's quite scary. And so if we're following trends, then it means the same thing could happen in South Africa. But really, it's up to each of us to keep ourselves safe and to keep our families safe, and to not lose sight of keeping other people safe, including ourselves and our loved ones, and doing the right thing. You know, wearing your mask around your chin is not keeping anybody safe. It needs to cover your nose, and as uncomfortable as it might be, we need to do it, you know. So good night, everyone. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you on Saturday if you can make it. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Take care, happy studying, and post your questions in the chat, in the WhatsApp chat, if there's anything that, you know, comes to mind over the course of the next few days. Good night, everyone. Take care.